Welcome back to the Cross Up Podcast. I'm your host, Agent X, along with my co-hosts, Alan, Daquan, and Chris. What's up, guys?
Yo.
Hello.
Well, let's just get into the news. There's not much news, really.
At least news that we care about, right?
Yeah. New York Comic Con happened this past week. They just called some announcement dates for like Daredevil, which comes out in like March.
Yeah, there was some Marvel stuff, some reveals on like new characters that I don't think were supposed to come out. I think there was some controversy with what's his name? Agatha All Along. Somebody on the social media team released a trailer ahead of time, and so people were freaking out about that.
I have not seen Agatha All Along. I want to. I just have not even started watching that.
No,
I haven't watched a lot.
And then also, obviously, the cosplay. There's always cosplay at these Comic Cons, and most of them are
convention.
Pretty. Most of them are pretty actually kind of good. Destiny Rising announcement. Have you seen this?
Unfortunately, yes, I have. And I mean, the only thing I can say is, so I saw the announcement. Did they show any gameplay or how it's supposed to function as a game? Like, can you guys explain that to me?
They didn't show the monetization, obviously.
Well, obviously, they're never gonna show that shit when they're trying to show off a game to sell it.
No,
not yet.
So, and this game is not made for Americans. Okay, let's just be real.
Yeah,
it's definitely targeting like the more Asian markets where they're more on their phone playing games and stuff. Which I mean, that's kind of like Diablo and Mortal 2, right?
One thing about that though, it's actually releasing its beta or alpha. Because alpha or beta, they're releasing the first test. The alpha, they're releasing the alpha for Canada and US
only.
Only.
That's crazy.
I guess because it's like
the wrong market. I'm sorry.
American company.
Well, no, is it? No, because it's
being developed by NetEase.
NetEase is the. Why is it? Why?
Yeah,
why?
I think it is targeted for American audience. Like, I think they are trying to target America because I think
good luck.
Yeah.
Like the majority of the world still plays games on like the phone, so I think the US is the only one where I think PC and console are still like people's go-to. So they're probably trying.
Well, I mean, even here in America, we have a bunch of people, whether you call them games or not. There's a shit ton of people that play games on their phone, and so maybe they're like, "Oh, we have these bigger markets playing these games. Maybe if we give them a good, quote unquote, good mobile game, they'll at least try it out, right?" But I don't know. I feel like Destiny's not that IP, but maybe it is. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I don't think it is.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
I know people like the goth girl.
Yeah, I've seen posts on Twitter about her.
Listen, all we know is that if it's a game and it has good characters and it has enough good characters that they can make Rule 34 out of it, then it will have some success.
It will have some
I don't think anybody want to see Rule 34 Zavala. Like,
I mean, that's where you're wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've seen it on accident. Like, it's crazy.
And then he bookmarked it on accident and made it his wallpaper on accident.
I found it on accident, then I followed the Twitter account, so it's no longer an accident.
Well, if you're interested in that type of thing, I know I'm not. It's gonna be alpha.
It's I guess. I mean, whoever is excited for it, good for you. I guess
someone out there will like this.
Yeah. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero outsold Fire Z within like the first week of its release.
Yeah, I mean that's not really that surprising though.
No,
because Fighters is like a proper fighting game, right? So like people probably saw the gameplay and they're like, I don't want to play that. Whereas this one is like a Budokai game where it's like an arena fighter, and those aren't fighting games. That's why the Naruto games still sell really well. So they saw that, and it's Dragon Ball, and they're like,
yeah, they need to stop selling the Naruto games.
I think it also has a lot to do with, like, I know when Fighter Z came out, I would get some content for it randomly, like either on TikTok or Instagram. But with this, it's all over. Yeah, it's all over the place.
But again, I can't really, because obviously I don't like have ads anywhere because I just block them all. I hate them. So and I pay for YouTube Premium, so I don't even get ads on YouTube. But where I do see it is like Twitter and TikTok. But again,
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was because I already follow and like posts that do with Dragon Ball and fighting games, quote unquote. And same with my YouTube, right? Like I follow content creators that do game like videos on Dragon Ball and stuff like that. So I was seeing a bunch of it. So I was like, okay, one of two things means either all the people that I follow are just playing it because it's a new game, or this game's actually like super massively like everyone's playing it, and that's why it's getting pushed onto me.
It's probably both.
It's probably a mixture of both, yeah.
Are you in the camp, Cheeto, that arena fighting games are fighting games?
They're fighting games.
Oh, okay. There's this whole debate online about.
I know there's like a huge
fighters.
there's a huge debate, and a lot of people are like on the boat that it's not a fighting game, just like Smash isn't a fighting game. Guys, I get it. It's called a platform fighter, and it doesn't really function like a fighting game. People are beating the fuck out of each other with their fists. It's a fighting game, or swords. Just like arena fighters and those Naruto games, those are fighting games. Whether you like them or not, they're fighting games.
They have all the, as much as I hate to admit, with Smash.
Yeah.
Because I don't like Smash.
It's okay.
They're fighting games.
They're fighting games, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Calm down.
So arena fighters, yeah, like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is a fighting game, even if it's not like a traditional fighter with like, you know, the same type of layout or accessibility, whatever you want to call that, like what you in your mind differentiates the two. I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, like if you guys are actually playing that game seriously, there's probably like the same level of complexity as any other fighting game. So it's like,
yeah,
especially because you can play with teams of 3, isn't it? I don't fucking know. I've never played it, but go ahead. Pick one.
The next one is, to me, probably one of the most important bits of news. So The Verge did like a report or like a little article on Microsoft's Xbox Cloud Gaming will let you stream the games that you own, and it won't be based on a select, like a proper
library.
selection. Yeah, so it'll be whatever's in your library. You can just stream on cloud gaming.
So I guess my question is, if you own the game, just having the ability to stream it is just without having the console or a PC there? Like how does because I haven't looked too much into like their Xbox Cloud Gaming. So is it just like let's say I have a connection to the TV and whatever, like I know some of the cloud services, they had like an actual quote unquote little box that you connected to your TV. So as long as I have that, I can then stream those games to my TV, or how does that work? Or do I stream it to my PC?
You just need to be able to access. So either if you're the only thing you need for cloud gaming is the Xbox controller and access to the cloud gaming website or an app on whatever you're using. So like the app can be on the TV, which I think Samsungs are shipping now with Xbox already on them.
Okay, because
so
all
you have to do is like Bluetooth.
I was about to say, because I know depending on the TV, there's certain apps that you don't even get through their marketplaces. Like I know Samsungs and Sony's you can get, obviously because it's Sony, you can get Crunchyroll. You do not get Crunchyroll on LG's.
Yeah, LG, I don't like LG, but it is what it is.
Yeah, right. I just noticed it because I had a friend who had an LG and he doesn't have Crunchyroll. He has Funimation. He had Funimation though.
For the longest time, I had a Samsung and I was able to put Twitch, but then I got Sony and I couldn't put Twitch anymore.
Yeah, so it's just
interesting.
Yeah, the cool thing with this though, and also what I think is very interesting for this to be the case, one, with Microsoft trying to strengthen its foothold in like Asian markets, but then they do something that kind of directly competes with the Asian market, which is going after the cloud gaming, because now you effectively have an Xbox on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer, and you can say like, oh, I'm just going to download the Xbox app, and then I'm going to share play or share screen to my TV, and now I don't even have to download any games anymore, and I can just sit here and play everything in my library. And cross functionality, like cross play and all the other stuff still works. So it's like,
to my point still from like what we talked about yesterday, Daquan, is cloud gaming is gonna be a thing. Obviously, it's obviously here. Yeah. But still, how valuable is it for the average person?
Because I know,
what I mean, they have to have good internet.
Because I know, they have to
stream it to something. there's gonna be input lag. It just not for me. This is just not a good experience right now.
And then like you also have to have the controller itself connect to whatever device you're playing on.
Right.
And like I mean I haven't tried it, but can I connect an Xbox controller to a tablet or phone?
Yeah,
you can.
The newest one, yeah. They're
the
just
newest
Bluetooth,
one?
yeah.
Okay.
They're just Bluetooth, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was the
I
big
haven't, like
thing
I said,
about
I haven't tried it, so I didn't know.
Yeah, it's. I think, and again, me and Jeremy was talking about it last night. I think to Jeremy's point, the amount of folks to actually be able to use this in a way that Xbox or Microsoft has in mind, we're still probably some years out before this is just like you open up your phone and like press play and Elden Ring plays perfectly.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the amount of like runway that they have with this, they're still going to take people away from the mobile market just for the fact that you have the capability to play something like Destiny on the go.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't have to be the mobile version. So I don't know.
Well, like I'll say this. I agree with it. What Jeremy said, that I think ease of access is the biggest hang up that they have to get past. You got to be able to make it easy for just an everyday person to use. You can't be like too technical about it. Like, oh, I gotta be able to connect to this or like set up my account this way or blah blah blah. It has to be easy. And then the other thing that we haven't talked about is consoles themselves, like both Xbox and PlayStation. And I don't know so much about Switch, but I know for sure Xbox and PlayStation. The physical console is a loss leader. They lose money for every single one that they sell, right?
Yeah.
So if they can get past having to sell a console and spend years developing a new one, I think that would be the ultimate goal for them, because then you don't have to spend money on something that's not really making you any. The ecosystem is making you money, not the console.
I mean, Xbox loses more money selling their consoles than PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. Like playing Call of Duty on like streaming, that doesn't feel good. No. Because it's too like playing a fighting game, that won't feel good. Playing Valorant streaming like on cloud, it just won't feel good because you have to play a different way.
Yeah.
Not to mention, motherfuckers out here don't even have a stable fucking connection, let alone an Ethernet cable.
Out here on the Wi-Fi warriors, dude. Like, bro.
And these motherfuckers on Wi-Fi have like 5 megabytes up and down, and I'm fucking watching a PowerPoint presentation.
That's fair, but you also got to remember that's not the market that they're going for. They're going for the casual market, the one that something easy to use appeals to them. Mm-hmm. The person that wants to sit down and play Stardew Valley without having to download it, or what other farming sim they want to play, that where uploads and download times don't really mean anything to them.
Okay, well, I understand that point, because that is definitely what they're going for. But let's be honest, if you're just a casual gamer who's playing like very basic single player games, you don't know what cloud gaming is.
Well, no, but you understand the idea of an app that you can stream to your TV.
Absolutely.
Right, so it's like you don't need to know the technical side of it. You just need to know that, hey, if you download
side of it, but they're selling it as like Xbox Cloud Serving, and they're like, oh, it doesn't seem like something I want to do, and then they just continue doing what they're ever doing.
Well, no, like, look, I know for a fact, it's just because like I have friends who are like this, that if you tell them like, hey, do you want to play this game, and then they ask you like, okay, well, what console is it on, and then they'll tell you like, oh, well, the last time I bought a console was like the Xbox 360. I don't know what to get. Like, that paralysis of choice still exists. Whereas you tell somebody, hey, you should download this game. They're like, okay, cool. How do I play it? Oh, just download an app on your phone. Like, that's how easy it needs to be. They don't need to understand like, oh, the technical side to it, or like the cloud gaming, or like, oh, you got to make sure you have a Bluetooth, or you got to make sure that your internet is at the right speeds. Like, no, they would just be like, oh, just download an app.
Yeah. And I will say too, for the Xbox stuff, a lot of the games, and if I can remember, a lot of the games actually have some type of support for mobile input. So like for some of the products you even have on Game Pass or like on the cloud gaming, you don't even need a controller for.
Yeah, you can just use your phone. I know that was
So
the case with PlayStation for a while. I don't know. I haven't tried it in a long time, but I know when they first came out, I would be at work playing Horizon Zero Dawn with just my phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the connectivity is still garbage right now. So
Oh yeah, 100%.
hopefully, hopefully that fixes up. But
Yeah, in a couple of years, maybe 20. I don't know.
20. Oh,
I don't
God.
think so.
Think
Just
less?
think
I
how
was
fast
down
we went
numbers.
from like
I thought
from
numbers.
50 megabits a second being like really fast to now it's just garbage.
I would say by next year, like end of next year, they have this figured out. That's my guess.
It's a bold statement. Write that down somewhere.
It is. It is.
You know, it's funny because obviously we hear all this, right? The technological advances that we've had even in the last 5 years. And it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
we're advancing crazy fast, especially when money's put into it. But at the same time, on the other side of the spectrum, look at Mark Zuckerberg and his little universe bullshit that he's been working on for 10 years and throwing billions of dollars on, and no advancement has been made. So I'm just like,
Nope.
it could be next year, could be 5.
Yeah.
But I think that goes like, okay, what's an ego project for a billionaire versus a like project that hundreds of teams are working on around the world, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
But like I said, you just don't know.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Because they could say they're investing in it, but then like how much money is actually going into it? Like other people are working on it. Like other people are working on cloud services in general and cloud streaming, but like for Xbox specifically, how many people are actually working on it?
Yeah.
They have a very large team working on that. I would tell you. I would tell you that part. There is a very, very good sized group doing that. But my primary note for it taking probably like a year before they get kind of updated and fixed up to the point to where it's just accessible to most people is when they went to do the Activision Blizzard King merge. The biggest contingency was the fact that they were such ahead of everyone else in cloud gaming that if they got at Call of Duty on that platform, that they would just dominate the market, and that's why they had the blocks because cloud gaming was the problem for the trade commission. So
Really?
I don't think they would be as concerned if cloud gaming would take way more time than this. But it's something as immediate as like we purchased them and then within like the next 3 years or so we're the king of gaming. That would be something you're concerned over, but I don't think they would come at you for something that's like 10-20 years down the line.
Oh,
Gotcha.
But
Well, that's the news. Anything? Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
Were you gonna say something, Chris?
No. I was just gonna agree with him. Like, yeah, like if the judge was presented evidence, it has to be clear and immediate, and can't be like, oh, it's 10, 20 years down the line. Well, that gives you plenty of time to catch up, then, right? So then it's not really an issue. But if it was that big of an issue, then yeah, it must have been pretty imminent.
Yeah. Cool. So the main topic of today is journalism in games.
Hey.
Look, I wouldn't say it's a hot topic. Well, is it a hot topic, Daquan?
I think it depends on the type of person you're talking to.
I'm gonna say it's a misunderstood topic. I think that's the way to put it.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
Yep.
Even I'm misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So let me just read this real quick. So the definition of journalism, according to Webster, is an act of gathering, editing, and presenting news for publication in newspapers, magazines, on television, or on the radio.
Yes. Or in this case, the internet.
In this case, the internet, more than likely.
Because even magazines, like the only magazine I really knew of that did like gaming consistently was Game Informer, and that one's mostly online now too.
No, that's gone.
It's closed. It's closed now, right? They closed it earlier this year. You're right. I forgot.
Yep.
Game Informer was like one of the largest, like for like a long time, right?
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
I mean, I was actively going to them for stuff like that, but and they were doing a pretty good job too.
Yeah, I think I got my Pokemon guide within a Game Informer.
Yeah,
nice.
I think that's where I had mine from.
But who reads magazines now?
I do.
You still do?
If they offer, like, if I'm on a website that I buy stuff frequently from, whether it's like guns, car parts, video games, or whatever, anime, and they give like a free website or a free magazine, I'll take it. I'll look through it. It's like what I do here in between games, or when I'm like taking a break or waiting for something, or in the bathroom. You know, it's just something.
So you read
I'm not
magazines
like, yeah. I mean, what I could do on my phone, but like I do that anyways. So it's like it's either one.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, I mean, like I'm not actively reading them, but if there's an option, I'll take it.
I can't do that, dude. That's just a waste of space in the house.
I'm looking at a piece of what is the newspaper magazines behind you? What is that? We're talking about waste of space.
Oh yeah.
Like, what is that?
Damn.
Sound design. I'm gonna say that.
Oh, it's B&H. Yeah, so you're in the same boat.
Whatever.
Literally saying no, that's a waste of space. I would never. The incriminating evidence
No.
behind them.
They mail this shit to me every time. They mail this because I live here. It's like, hey, here's a free community page. Here's a free community magazine to look at. It's like, cool. I'll open it, see what's opening for food, close it, and throw that shit into the recycling.
Oh my goodness. That thing is just for fly swatter at this point.
Yeah, basically.
That's all it's used for.
But anyway, we have big 3 bullet points here. We have the impact of the consumer, impact of the product, and the impact to industries. So we're gonna start with the impact to the consumer first.
Can we? This is me. I know you guys did the outline and did more research, so you can tell me if I'm wrong here. Would not impact to the industry be a better start, because we can see how it affects the bigger or environment as a whole, and then it affects everyone else underneath?
So originally that was the way this was, I think, set up, but we ended up going the opposite direction, because pretty much none of this is relevant if there is no consumer base. So we started with the consumer just so we can lay out like exactly how does thinking about the consumer and that type of environment actually affect how the product is made, which ultimately handles how the industry performs.
Okay, that's fine. I just was wondering.
So, yeah. You want me to do the first one, Jeremy, or you want?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the first impact here. So journalism for consumers nowadays, you end up getting a lot of noise because we have the largest entertainment audience in the history of humankind.
Yep.
There has not been another form of entertainment that has everybody so pretty much combined, which according to, let me bring this up here. There is a website that is tracking a lot of information. And if anybody sees this and needs to correct me, by all means, please do. But what do they call it? The ESA. So there's this website called the ESA, and they're tracking how many people are actually playing games through all these other different ways of like gathering the information for whatchamacallit, just to like archive video game information. And right now, they put it as 1 in 3 people on the planet plays video games.
And that's just any form, right? PC, game,
any
phone.
Form. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
1 in 3 people.
Which I think makes sense.
For the thought of 1 in 3 people, that is like pretty insane, given that I don't even know if we can say 1 in 3 people on the planet owns like a TV.
Right.
Or 1 in 3 people are able to go see a movie or something like that. Video games are so out there as far as a user base. There's just all the people, just all the people. And with all the people, you also gain all the perception, like all of it.
Yeah.
And some of it, you can't really be wrong because it is your thought process. But to one of the Reddit threads that Jeremy found, one of the users ended up saying, what was that crazy statement he threw down?
For right now, the biggest problem of video game journalism is not politics. It's that the writers are complete laymen who have nothing interesting to say about the games in question.
I mean, that's always been one of my issues, right, with game journalism, and why I'm so picky about who I even watch or listen to or read, because a lot, not everyone, obviously there's some really good journalists in general in the sphere for video games or esports, but the majority of them, unless they're like already massive fans of video games and have an understanding of video games and like the intricacies behind it or the mechanics of the game, it sounds like these people have never touched a video game in their life and they're just here because it's a job. And so having no understanding of the environment, the games, or not even having the skill to get through like Elden Ring as an example, there was a lot of people that were putting out full journals on like the first week and they couldn't even get through the first boss.
Don't forget about the guy who couldn't get past the Cuphead tutorial.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that.
Like, why are we giving those people a platform to speak? Now, again, I get it. It's like free speech. People can do it. But like, these are coming from publication websites that do this for a living.
I think, and like obviously this is just completely an outside perspective, but a lot of the times those specific writers, the ones that you can tell are just not part of the culture, are coming from publications that look at gaming as still like this up and coming thing.
It's like a
like
hobby.
like that thing, you know, gaming. Whatever those people do, just get like our newest writer on that, have them do that for a while before, once they like learn how to read and write, then you can send them on to somewhere else. That's what it feels like, at least from the outside.
It just feels like out of all the different publications, like as far as journalism, like the different sectors, so to speak, it feels like gaming, unless they're from the scene or they grew up loving it, or even like someone who does YouTube journalism, right? Because they're like more in love with it and it's a passion. It feels soulless and unknowledgeable, and it just feels like anyone off the street is just writing these fucking publications.
Hey, man. You get Joe Schmo off the corner of 5th and Avenue and just write some shit.
Whereas like if you if you tried to get some random Joe Schmo at a publication trying to do like an article over like the biggest thing in sports or something, I feel like it's taking way more seriously than it does for gaming.
Yeah. The difference with that is like, if someone's commenting or commentating on sports, there is defined parameters for talking about sports. Like, there is not a whole lot of wiggle room when you see like, oh, this person normally gets 15 points and this game they only got 3 points. And it's like, here's their stats, here's how they normally perform. They aren't getting the same amount of yards, they're like, you know, not getting the same amount of passes, and that's, you know, in which the environment that you can speak on. And you can clearly mark to say whether or not somebody's experienced in that conversation, if they even know what they're talking about.
Right.
But with games, which I'm the other side of this coin, where I'm the person who don't get past the Elden Ring boss, and I will say the game is trash. I will say, I'm not here for the game.
Saying that is one thing. You're not writing a whole article about it, you know?
Well, even with writing the article, I think that is still fine and fair to do. The difference is, I think there should be a way to do that has like, this is subjective versus objective.
Yeah.
So, because there are objective ways to look at games. Like, I can't stand the Souls games. I can't. I really can't. But I can objectively say these are phenomenally well-made products. They're well designed. They're well everything. But if I wrote my own review, it's like, no, I hate this game. I get over here, I get clapped. I get over there, I get clapped again. Like, no,
look, man, it's the same thing it's the same thing with me and Grand Theft Auto. I can't stand the game.
Me either. Yeah, I can't stand it.
I mean, I can only play the story, and even then, it's like,
So if I was to write a review, I would tell you why I wouldn't like it, and I would also get clapped from left, right, everywhere.
Pretty much. And on some more about the information, like where we're getting this info from consumers. Well, y'all already kind of touched on it, but the contracted reviews are folks that are just given the access to write up stuff. It is like, what
and like I guess it's just the way that it's maybe presented is my issue with it, because like you said, they can write whatever the fuck they want. Like, it's their job, it's their review, and a lot of reviews are subjective, and they just but the difference being is like a lot of these game journalists, and you even see it on YouTube and other places or social media, is they try to portray the information as just objective and they're correct and it's the only take. And I guess it's like the way it's written, right? Whereas like if it's a review and you just say, hey, I didn't like it, I thought it was awful, I hated every second of it, and then proceeded to say like go to either don't go to someone else, but like objectively speaking it's like fine or whatever, like that would have been a way better review than you going on for 15 paragraphs talking about how shit it is and then like that's it.
I will give credit to a YouTube channel called Game Ranks where they have like before you buys.
Oh, I like that channel. I like that
where
channel.
I think they do an excellent job not just showing the gameplay but actually talking about, this is good, but there's this, there's that, you know.
They do a pretty comprehensive pros and cons, letting you know, like, this is like if you like these types of games, this is kind of what it's like.
The game. They don't give like scored numbers.
No, they don't tell you what they think will review overall. Yeah, and I think it's pretty good because at no point do they ever really say like, hey, this game's amazing or phenomenal. Like you should. It's like very objective, and then at the end of it, it's just like it's your decision if you want to buy or not.
Yeah.
And I think that's what any journalism should be. You shouldn't get like you can have your own opinion in there, but it should be very objective and open, so to speak.
Yeah.
The other piece of this too, since we're bringing up Game Ranks, the influencer stuff.
Yeah.
They need to stop. I think there is no. I
know, like it's hard to put in words of like how much harm they can do for someone who's looking to buy a game.
It's insane. Like there is confirmation bias where like you're looking at these YouTubers and these TikTok or Instagram or whatever these folks are, and you're like, oh, I normally follow their information. I like a lot of games they like. Now they're saying things, and now I am influenced based on their nonsense. And these people have no idea what they're talking about half the time. They're just talking out their ass. And an example here, not to be funny, Shroud recently released a game.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be someone that everybody takes information on about first person shooters and good mechanics and what, good updates were. His game is bad.
I didn't like it. Yeah.
It's not, it's like you can yourself be decent at a specific thing, but and when me and Jeremy was talking about it last night, it's like influencers, they look at products completely different than the end user, than regular consumers. Right. They're looking at it like, oh, if I play this game, is how many views is this going to give me? How much content can I generate from this? What are my partnership opportunities? Most of them are not just sitting here playing the games because they enjoy it. Like there are some of them, like what do you call them, Ho Carnage?
Oh, Ho Carnage. I like that guy.
He's one of the ones that is one of the guys that I would listen to,
especially when it comes to like RPGs.
He actually plays multiple game genres.
Yeah,
pretty much
on stream, and like he always has like his thoughts in videos. No, he doesn't give number reviews,
and it's not like a 10-20 minute thoughts on the game. Like he'll finish the game or play a shit ton of it, and we're getting hour-long videos about his thoughts and what he thought of his experience. And so I've usually been a pretty big fan of his. I will say, like I said, and again, just like everything in this fucking industry, inherently having the influencers or just creators or anything play their games, whether it's through sponsored or whatever, is I guess some companies may be a little shittier than others, right? Because if it's just a bad game and they're not forced to say anything other than it's positive, it's just bad all around. But I go and watch multiple streamers or YouTubers play a game that I'm interested in, not even to get their thoughts or anything, because it allows me to see how the game actually functions when someone's playing it. Because if I'm like unsure and I haven't seen a whole lot, or because it is like a trailer or a gameplay trailer that they do behind the scenes, how would that actually function on someone's computer or something like that, or a console? But I know not everyone does that. I know a lot of people will just go to their favorite streamer, and if they like it or don't like it, guess what? That's their opinion too. So I see a lot of the negatives because it is probably doing a lot more harm than good. But I've gotten a lot of really good games, and I've also saved money on a lot of shit games by having the opportunity and the freedom to go watch anyone who's streaming it, who's made videos about it, TikTok or whatever, playing a game, and then I can just make my decision on like their experience through it. Because I don't need them to tell me like, oh, this is a really good game or whatever. I can physically see you and how you're reacting as you're progressing the game to get like a general feel. Like, okay, he seems to be enjoying it, I guess. And then it's like, oh, well, this guy is probably just forcing it to be positive. It's probably not a good time at all. And so, you know, again, it's not perfect because obviously you're still not the one playing it and it's going to be different. But I do like having that freedom. But again, a lot of companies, and I want to say the majority of companies, when they sponsor someone, the second that you make a bad comment about the game, whether it's like constructive criticism or not, no longer get to work with that company. And that's where, you know, that's just the company at that point. But you know, changes should be made around that, especially if you're going to continue to use influencers. You can't just force them to be positive about everything. Like, I think having that constructive criticism from not only the people that you quote unquote trust because they're on your partner program to like sell and advertise your games. If you can't even take their criticism, then what the fuck are you going to do listening to the random regular casual player?
Yeah.
Well, what's that? We can go on to the product. Which, to your point about that type of criticism and like what you're actually adjusting to do certain things, people are designing and like setting up the structure of these games based on the consumer expectation and how they feel they're going to get reviewed on their work, rather than actually trying to make just an actually unique experience.
Right. Or whatever their original intent was.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them, they don't even have original intents anymore. It is just, oh, that thing is out. They're reviewing well. They're getting good feedback from the audience. Now let's do that thing. And that way everybody knows it's safe. They put it out. They're going to at least get a 5 out of 10 from IGN. They're at least going to get, you know, this type of bar from X, Y, and Z. This amount of YouTubers will hop on it. Back to these stupid influencer folks.
Right.
By the way, for any influencer that might look at this, I don't really not like y'all. It's just that I don't like the access you have in certain situations.
And the way that it's used.
And the way that it's used, it just...
At least for me, it's I don't like the worst of you. Yeah. I'm sure there's good ones out there, but the worst of you makes it so much harder to like you all as a whole.
Let me just stress this real quick. There are good game journalism people out there.
Yes.
Who do
100%. 100%.
Who do due diligence and like searching and the topic that they're doing, like reaching out for comment for companies. But there's this like just select few like cut here that needs to do better.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because they give the rest of y'all a bad look.
Pretty much. Which honestly, if it's even up to me for this, I'm even separating YouTubers with influencers, because I think the influencers are those ones that get all those, that get into this muck that I'm even talking about at this point, because there are YouTube journalists that are literally just YouTube journalists and they get ad revenue and that's what it is. They aren't actively trying to influence the world.
I guess there's a difference between like someone who gets a free review copy and then makes a video about it versus like someone actively playing the game on stream or videos for the purpose of advertising, right? And those are probably more the influencers.
Those are closer to the influencers. The ones that have these actual conversations with the other studios and doing this other stuff to have like partnerships. I get it, you know, people still got to make money out here and your lives are what they are, but the worst of y'all are like it's just disgusting.
No fucking integrity or morals, and they just want money. It's kind of crazy, and it shows. Trust me.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's all that nonsense again affecting how game developers are actually been thinking about making products. Like even as simple as the button placement of certain things. Like I think in the Skyrim, the jump button is Y for like the top face button. If somebody did that today, they'd probably get review bombed and then nobody would try it again.
Oh, dude,
and it's like
it's dumb as fuck.
It's like what is?
I mean,
and it can be something as simple as these influencers saying how stupid it is, and going to Steam saying I'm gonna leave a negative review, and now thousands will follow them. And it's like what?
Imagine playing another game that's an action combat game, or like a platformer or something else, and they had the jump button similar to Dark Souls, where you could only jump in sprint, so you hold B and then you tap B really quickly after that to jump.
Immediate review bomb right there,
dude.
I get review bombing could be something that's like a tool for the consumer in case somebody's doing something crazy, and I guess that's a thing that's available.
I mean, to be honest, like again, as shitty as that is, it works sometimes.
Like it worked for Tekken.
It worked for Tekken, yeah. It didn't really work for Overwatch. They're still trying.
And Tekken, they charge for.
Hold on. Speaking of Overwatch, real quick, I just want to ask: did anybody see the tweet that came out? I think it was either Friday night or Saturday night. Yes.
No. Someone was on Overwatch Twitter, like it
official
was like,
Overwatch.
It
official
was like 1
a.m.
Twitter type shit. Mm-hmm. And talking about Kiriko's feet in the new skin, and they did a foot edit of her and her skin, and they said Kiriko has grippers, and then type a foot emoji if you like the new skin or something. It was really out of pocket, out of nowhere. It was like in the middle of the night.
Overwatch Twitter?
The official Overwatch Twitter.
It's still up too. You can literally pull up Overwatch's official Twitter, scroll down a little bit, you'll see it.
Jeremy's like, hold up.
He doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe it.
One moment for tech.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't even have Twitter. I just that's disturbing.
Let me know if you can't find it. I'm sure I could find it.
You probably can find it better than me.
All right, let me.
I'm hoping this is just a lie. Like I'm hoping it's like, no, this is just a bad dream. We'll wake up at some point. A 3D character has grippers. That's there.
Mm-hmm. All right, here you go. I'm just gonna post the link in the Discord and let y'all see.
Just gonna leave it right there.
You guys can look at it.
Make sure you put it in sources. No.
No, it's gonna be there for everyone to see.
Hey, and let's look at this thing here.
There you go.
Well, what the fuck?
Yeah, they just put that tweet out randomly. It's a little off topic, but it's really funny. 17
million views.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's where whoever's handling the Overwatch social media account, that's where they're at the moment, and they're getting the okay, I guess.
They got views. 9,000 bookmarks, just so you guys know.
We're done. All right, that'll be the end of the podcast. Let's go ahead. Just cut this.
Holy shit.
Sorry to derail the conversation so much, but I just had to say something.
No,
there's no way I couldn't.
Oh god.
Nothing else to say about that.
Yeah, dude, I woke up the next day, saw that, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
That just
oh god. Okay, well anyway.
we coming back to it. That just bothers me so many ways.
It does. But what I was gonna say, as I get my composure back here, Tekken was selling a stage for $5, right? And the whole community wasn't over because I thought it was gonna be free. Like
as a context, we buy a season pass, or you bought the Ultimate Edition with the game to get the season pass for the DLC characters. The first DLC character was Eddie Gordo, no stage, just Eddie Gordo. The second was Lydia with her beach stage, and then we get Heihachi, but his stage $5 for no reason, because they're like, we'll probably get away with it. They did.
And
not.
according to Harada, in like the terms and service, like there was no mention of having stages for free, according to Harada.
I don't know.
And so they review bombed Tekken. So I'm not sure where it sits at right now, but
it was overly negative for a little while.
Yeah.
And then they posted an apology saying that the stage will now be free, I think. Yeah. And they're gonna give us they're gonna basically refund those $5, give you Tekken coins back. and they're doing a couple other things. I forget, but essentially, yeah, they actually turned back on that real quick.
Interesting.
And always, and let me just say this real quick. Everyone blames Harada for things. Bro, Harada Namco is the boss.
Yeah.
You have to realize this. Harada works on the dev team. He doesn't work on the publishing side. He doesn't work on the marketing team. He doesn't work on the people pricing stuff. He is working on the game.
And then he's just the face when he goes around at tournaments and stuff, and that's it. He's the one that gives you news because he's the one working on it.
Bandai Namco, they make those prices. So, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right, we can continue this journalism episode now.
Yeah. So for the more things on the product as well here. So the other part is, I guess, yeah, this is a good thing because since y'all brought up that Overwatch thing, I called it like the multiverse issue of having like so many mediums to talk about your product, so many mediums to have like cross-referencing. You have like TVs for games, you got movies for games, you got books for games, like all the other stuff. There's that other thing to where you spread out the product across so many different mediums that it becomes very difficult to talk like bad about it. If you do good in one area, then it kind of overtakes the other one. Like you get Fallout, like the Fallout TV show dropped. All of a sudden, Fallout 76 is getting positive reviews.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, journalists are putting out like, "Oh, Fallout is such a good series. Like, oh my God, let's talk about the top 30 best moments in Fallout and this, that, and other."
Yo, real quick, like, IGN does this all the time.
All the time.
They're very guilty of that shit.
It's like
the second
bro,
that
this has nothing to do with the game.
Yeah, the second that an IP related to a game does well outside of games, they immediately jump and make like 3 videos about that series and then move on.
Yeah, pretty much. And then that sparks all the other people to just keep and keep and keep. And now it's just a surge of talking about a game that ain't really that good. Like I just the multi content, whatever the hell the word is, like all the multi product combination, just it's trash. It's a trash model. It's so trash. Like it's. I guess because we have here short-term memory, so I guess a lot of people just forget shit. Like something happens, and then like 6 months later, something else happens. It's like, oh, I forgot all about that. Like, oh, that's fine. Yeah, then you go back and it's just, whatever the short-term memory multi-platform issue is, this is added onto the product. You oversaturate the product with multi-products, and now you have this weird Frankenstein of a thing that now is just interconnected. You review one, and now all of it gets praise. All of it gets positives, and it makes no sense. It just makes no sense to me. The product, you have no sense of where the product itself stands.
Yeah, where's that article? Okay, here's one from Kotaku.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The Kotaku knows this one. A video game flopped harder than anything at the box office this year, and the mainstream press barely noticed. You know, again, they're talking about
Concord.
Kotaku, you are the publication. What do you mean?
I love it when there's articles talking about. There's no articles about this. Like, dude, you're an article about this. What are you talking about?
And when it comes to what
do you mean? When the mainstream barely noticed.
when it comes to video games, you guys are the mainstream. Like
you are the mainstream. Like what do you?
I hate to admit this, but like, what? Huh?
Like, yeah, bro, fucking Fox News isn't gonna talk about Concord. That's you.
No,
that's your job.
Yeah, pretty much.
This article was published also on Friday. This past Friday.
On Friday.
They're really running out. Motherfuckers, they cover fucking TV, movies, video games, books. They don't have something to talk about. They must be losing it.
No, we'll get to that in the next.
We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get.
But
God, I hate them. I hate them so much.
I'll save this for the next bit, but still, Kotaku, Polygon, and IGN. Holy shit, dude! You three need to do better.
Yeah,
and it sucks because there are occasionally like they'll release an article or a video that's clearly extremely well made, and I was like, y'all can't do this at least once a week. Why is it like a once a year type shit?
bro. I don't even need once a week. If you can figure it out once a month and
I
just
take
have
once
a
a month.
really good piece,
Yeah.
like that's all anybody wants. That's all
Yeah.
anybody wants.
You'll get so much more
And,
respect if you do that more regularly, but
like, what's the?
it's hard
Hold
work.
on,
So
let me see something. Let me see something real quick.
Oh God! All right, close that. Let me see.
Okay, I'll figure that out later on. I'll figure that out. But I was about to look up how much IGN was worth.
too much.
Too much to be making these mistakes. But with some more of that thing here with journalism for the product game leaks. The game leak stuff is the amount of security that has to go around your game being quiet, especially if it's story based, is insane. Because you never know what someone's going to do once they get the info. Because I don't know if everyone here probably does remember when The Last of Us Part 2 stuff leaked.
Yeah.
Like how insane there was like 3 months of just craziness going on regarding the story. And it actually did affect their pre-sales. And I mean their sales in general as well, because people was looking like, oh, we don't like the fact that we know Joel's about to be murdered by some random person or X, Y, and Z. And even like when it comes down to even how to handle game leaks, what is the responsibility of the developer, the publisher, the people actually reporting on this, the YouTubers? This entire little section right here is where you get to the conversation of like an actual journalist takes the time to understand what to do with this info because it affects everybody involved with the information.
All right, I guess I'll ask you guys to see what your opinion is. Let's say you're a journalist. You just found out some crazy leaks that are spreading around online. Are you writing an article or making a video about it?
No,
you shouldn't. And I hate when I see a major publication talk about leaks that were rumored on Twitter that are not even confirmed. And it happens so often.
You get your sources from Twitter and Reddit.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, there's no way.
Yeah.
No.
I can't stand it. I think it shows such a lack of integrity if you see these, even if the game leaks were confirmed, right, by the developer, they're leaks. That's not information that we should have known, and it's not even information that the developers were ready to show. So why even bother talking about it? I think it's just...
Well,
let's hear it.
There are controlled leaks as well.
They are controlled,
so
yes.
That's the other bit about all this, and that's like the part that's really crazy, because with this, you can't. There is no like one solution for this bit, because sometimes leaking stuff drums up the information, not the information, it drums up the interest that the developer or the publisher is wanting. Say like the numbers for engagement is down right before launch, and they're like, oh, we need to drum up some talk, we need people talking about the game, we need us being posted, we need to leak that this skin is going to be in the next season instead of this season, so people are talking about it, and then people are interested, and then you'll see all this other stuff, and then they get more engagement, more pre-orders, whatever the situation may be. So it's like, in one way, people are using the product to do control leaks, and then the other way, when it does leak, now journalists have no idea what to do with it.
Right.
So honestly, I say if something leaks in general, just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, don't search it.
Because unless for whatever reason, someone behind the scenes that somehow just is willing to tell you, there's no real way to tell which is controlled or not. It's just leaks in general.
Yeah, that's kind of like the purpose of it, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. And then with all that, more about the combination of like the developer publisher against like the person doing any of this type of journalism, scores in the impact to developers and how they handle stuff. More of what I mentioned about the game design philosophy. If a developer think you're gonna give them 5 stars or 5 out of 10 because their jump button isn't what you want, They're literally developing in fear, and you're going to get a worse product.
I hate scores and reviews for video games and movies. I think it's awful. It's so subjective. It's entertainment, so it's subjective to the person. And so having all these reviews, like, yeah, it could be, again, as the example we used last time, The Witcher has 9s, 10s, all 5 stars all across the board, pretty much from every reviewer. I didn't play it. I didn't like it. So, like, I hate.
Just for the record, The Witcher is not a 10 out of 10. It's not a 9 out of 10. It's an okay game. Yeah, that's it.
It's okay.
That's okay.
That's our opinion. Mine.
No. That's the truth.
That's the truth. He's I see.
By the way, with that, Jeremy, me and him did some little conversation last night, and we looked this up. So when we get to impact the industry, we'll talk about it. But like we looked it up, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that about the Witcher.
But yeah, I'm not a fan of the scores on reviews.
Yeah. I will say, and because that's actually popping up next, I am okay with scores for specific reasons.
Okay.
Just specific reasons. And it's for what I mentioned about the sports stuff. In sports, there are very specific things that you can check the scenario against to then give a proper evaluation. And I think for games, and I guess we might as well, before we skip into industry, influencers need to stay away from the product. Just put it out there. So there's going to be
they shouldn't have they shouldn't have an influence on the product itself. You're correct.
Exactly. No, they need to be out of it. So that's just put that in there. But on to the industry thing. Well, Jeremy, you can go over the IG and Polygon thing, and then I'll get to the rubric.
I just have to say this again. IGN, Polygon, Kotaku. Holy shit! Please do better. Like I don't know how else to say this. Like do your due diligence, and like actually like email these companies for like comment. So like some articles do on IGN. I will give IGN and Polygon some credit,
right,
for having some articles where they do reach out for comment for some topics. Kotaku, I don't know what the fuck they do.
Bro,
they just wake up, press send.
They wake up, post, publish, and that's about as far as that goes.
Yeah.
So I kind of looked this up for like Polygon. If you click on a writer's name, they tell you every article they published.
Yeah.
All right.
For IGN, Kotaku, and Polygon, these like one person publishing like 5 articles in a day. That's impossible.
Okay.
If you go to CNN and go to like any random one, they do like maybe 1 or 2 a day, and then they probably skip a couple of days too. Yeah. That's more reasonable and more believable than 5.
Yeah. And the relative topics, by the way, for CNN or whatever. Relative topics. And the other ones, it just...
1 minute you're talking about Zelda, next minute you're talking about cheese, next minute you're talking about the fucking train. Like, what?
It's all over the place. I don't even know how you have time to do that. There ain't enough time in a day to do that many articles. There just isn't.
And
unless you're garbage.
Yeah, and then for Kotaku, so they came out with a review for Final Fantasy 16 on the console. Yeah. Okay. And then they call themselves smart. Come out with a review for 16 for PC as told by Steam reviews. Then just took screenshots of Steam reviews on their website. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's the article you came up with?
Technically speaking, since they're other people's reviews, can't they copyright, quote unquote?
They're good.
Well, it's a public forum.
It is a public forum. You're correct.
But you still have to like properly cite people, and like they're not even putting the user's information.
Oh, okay. See.
You still can.
Then
the screen grabbing.
Yeah, I was about to say, if they have their username, then they're pretty much good.
Even IGN is kind of guilty to like having Reddit posts just on their site. Like, that's not journalism, dude. I'm sorry.
I don't. Just real quick. I think this also goes back to what I said earlier, which is that even now, game journalism as a whole is still seen as like a hobby. You know, it's not real journalism. It's just kind of something that somebody does as a stepping stone, which is why you have all these writers that are pumping out articles just to pad their resume, and that hopefully they can move on into real journalism. But that's what sucks. And then the other thing is too, there's with companies like Kotaku and IGN, you have a large pool of people that are graduating every day with a journalism degree, that the first thing they're going to do is like, hey, what am I interested in? Oh, well, I like games. Let me see if I can get into that. So you have a large pool of people that are willing to do anything just to get into the industry. And so they'll put up with like, hey, yeah, we expect 20 articles by the end of the week. And like, all right, well, I got to pump these articles out, right? It sucks that that's the way that it is. I feel like it's on the, there's definitely bad journalists out there who are just in there doing the least amount of work on articles, but there's definitely people out there that are trying to do better, but just can't because of the way the system's set up against them.
And I appreciate those people who are actually out there trying to make game journalism and like an actual like thought out thing, but man,
it sucks to see. And then I don't know if you guys put this in the outline, but I think it was early this year, late last year, there was a controversy over people using AI bots to scrape info off of like subreddits and gaming forums, and then spitting those out into ready-made articles, right? There was a trend going around. I think it definitely hit Destiny. I think it hit Final Fantasy and WoW subreddits as well, where people would post a very obvious fake info dump about the game. Like if you've played the game for even a minute, you would know like, hey, they're just making shit up. But people went out of their way to promote that and like boost it so that you could tell immediately what websites were using AI bots to scrape the top post of that subreddit, spit it out into an article, and just post it immediately without citing any source, without doing any research or any background data. And it was hilarious seeing all these posts about like, oh yeah, McGorb over here, newest boss in Destiny, and you would see all these articles from a bunch of different websites, all citing it like it was real. When if they had done like any amount of research, you would immediately found out like, oh, this is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All it takes is like just a simple Google search to search for this stuff, or a simple phone call.
But they don't even put in that effort.
Yeah. Like even a Google search can be pretty sketchy sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, again, for most of these sites, it is the conversation of quantity over quality, because as long as they can report large user traffic or whatever to their site, they don't care what happens. And it's just, this is
disappointing.
It really is, because it's just like imagine if there were very shit reviewers for sports. Like imagine if the commentators were bad, or if like you were trying to like do fantasy football and like people didn't know how to like properly give people stats and stuff. Like it's the same thing that happens with games, except for with games is the direction of the product and like how the industry operates as a whole, rather than just like somebody having fun with like their fantasy team. It's just it's just wild. It's the statement that Alan made about the scores being gone. I am a fan of the scoring system, but specifically just to have an industry standard for how to review a product. That way we minimize the random person popping up just talking about whatever the hell. Like, oh, I played even me, right? If I played Elden Ring and I didn't get through it for 2 hours, say I played an hour and a half and I'm like, I don't like this game, my review should not be in the same pile as the actual score for Elden Ring. That needs to be just my own review. There should be a section on IGN that says personal experiences. That's it. Like personal experiences. This is what I didn't like, pros and cons. Leave it at that. The other side can be objective review based on 15 accumulated reviews by all the people that want to play the game. You score it on graphics, you score it on gameplay, on combat, on I don't know what's the word I'm looking, innovation, very specific things to say like this is a good game. Because if you actually sit down and like break stuff down like that, The Witcher is not a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry. It's not. For anyone who likes The Witcher, The Witcher 3, tell me that you played The Witcher 2 before The Witcher 3. Tell me you played it before The Witcher 3. You can't. You can't. You want to know why? Because the game was not good. It wasn't good. The combat was trash. The movement wasn't good. The game looked like what happened. And like the only good thing about it was the story. That doesn't make a game a 10 out of 10. And The Witcher 3, all it had was prettier graphics. The combat still sucks. I'm sorry. Still sucks. Animations are okay. All I'm saying. But
yo, do you want me to tell you those list of games that came out the same year?
Oh, yes. And to the point of even this, the fact that The Witcher, and this isn't me trying to go off on Witcher 3, but it just bothers me because I think about the Witcher 3 score. The Witcher 3 released and people loved it because it was just the best looking game that year.
Wait, what came out that year? I don't even remember what year it came out.
Well, here, I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
Fallout 4.
Okay.
Hell Divers.
Okay.
Ori and the Blind Forest.
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront, Rocket League, and Bloodborne.
Oh, Bloodborne.
What competition did it have? Like, what's the competition? Fallout? What the?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I think Metal Gear Solid 5 is a better looking game than The Witcher 3.
I think Metal Gear Solid 5 is a better looking game.
Yeah, as far as the overall, I think they definitely pull it together better. But when it comes down to like some rugged, swashbuckling looking dude, and you're just like this thing in the world, I think The Witcher appealed to more people visually. But it's like, again, if there was an actual standard for grading these things, which I think her name is Alana. She's a former IGN employee.
Oh,
she mentioned that she mentioned in one of her videos that the reason IGN normally gives so many games like 6s and 7s is because that's pretty much the lowest entry point for a AAA title. So like they reserve
bare minimum.
And up. Yeah, they pretty much reserve those for AAA titles, and then the rest of them are the titles that you never hear about. Those random indie titles that get 3 out of 10s and 2 out of 10s. And my thing is, I get IGN's trying to make a universal grade, but that's not possible because you can't put a game like what's that bullet hell game that everybody fell in love with, made by one guy? Vampire Survivors. You can't put Vampire Survivor on the same conversation as The Last of Us Part 2.
Right.
They can't be on the same scale. Like, it's impossible. The budget's different. The scope is different. The actual platforms is going to release on is different. There's so many things that can't be bet against this. There needs to be the separation. So again, and it's just my thought because I don't want to be bitching, complaining, and not give some type of offer here, but like there needs to be a AAA title with objective scorings for specific things based on a full suite of people who have played this game. And then there's to be a personal suggestions or my personal experiences and just keep them separate. That way the user knows where to go for different information. If I wanted, I like this writer. Normally Jason writes this. Let me look at his perspective on this. What's the cumulative score? A 7. Okay, cool. This is something I can give a shot. But like there needs to be some industry standard and separation indie and AAA review stuff so that there's like equal opportunity, as Jeremy put in here, for like folks to have a proper what's it called? Like consumer decision.
Yeah.
Like there has to be a way to do this. That's not what it is right now. Because you can't tell me that all the games that have 10 out of 10 are actual 10 out of 10. It's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have that many 7s.
No.
Oh, Jeremy, you want to do that last line down there?
Man, I don't even know how to even start that, dude. Just get out. Just get out of it. Influencers, you're doing more harm than good. I'm sorry. Like I have no other way to put that.
Yeah.
I think I didn't get to say this earlier, but I think it also falls on companies that have an inflated view of how influential influencers really are. And so, yeah, I feel like they just rely on it too much. And whether they do have that influence or not, I don't think it matters. I think you need to stop having companies cater services, games, stuff towards that audience. And I think that's where the real harm comes in.
Pretty much. And to piggyback on that, to express how useless these influencers actually are as far as impact. I don't know if y'all remember Ninja doing the damn Fortnite dance in Town Square.
Unfortunately, yes, I do.
It's seared into my memory. Yes.
I remember the silence that creeps over.
I don't see enough movement out there, guys.
It's like, no.
You couldn't.
No, you just.
There, even if I was the biggest Fortnite streamer in the world, you couldn't pay me enough money in the world to make me go up there, like to pitch me the idea to host an event in Times Square and then do a Fortnite dance in front of the crowd. You're fucking stupid. They don't know who I am.
Exactly.
They don't give a fuck who I am. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
No.
Don't
at
care.
all. No. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing. Influencers, stay out. Please find something else to do. We need to have some industry standard rubric.
Please find something else to do.
Rubric. Yeah, please find something else to do. And then yeah, influencers, find something else to do. Something like that.
That's how we're ending, bro. Just fucking get out, bro. No one wants you.
Just stop it.
Get some help.
Oh my god.
See, it wasn't that much of a rant, right, Chilo?
No, I think it was fine.
It was fine. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Not this time, anyways.
Yeah, not this time. I still stand on the Witcher thing. By the way, if anyone disagrees with me about the Witcher that watches this, I want you to please just, in whatever comments, let me know why the Witcher is amazing. The Witcher 3, let me say that, Witcher 3. And when you do that, you better say that you played Witcher 2 first.
You better say you played Witcher 2 first.
Yeah, because I don't want to hear.
I was about to say, out of the people in my life that I've met that's played Witcher 3, I know one who's played Witcher 2.
I know
exactly.
I know one who's played Witcher 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's played 1 and 2.
She's in the other room right now.
She's in the other room, yeah. What's her opinion on Witcher 3?
I mean, she likes it, so, you know. And she actually played 1 and 2, so.
There you go.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well,
all I'm saying is, Daquan, your argument's falling apart. What are we gonna do?
No, I told her straight up, I don't like this game. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's trash. That's all I'm saying. Somebody saying it dethroned Skyrim. I don't think so.
Dethroned Skyrim?
So. Oh my god.
I don't think so.
All I'm saying is, The Witcher has a TV show. Skyrim doesn't.
That's because The Witcher needs a TV show. That's crazy.
It needs it to be relevant.
It needs the help.
That's
even
so funny.
Yeah, even Henry Cavill's like, I can't do this anymore, dude. Yeah, I'll just
exactly. Even he was like, I'm good off of it.
Thank you. Bye.
But yeah, I guess what is everybody doing this week? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we can talk about what we did this week since we're kind of done talking about it. I don't really have anything else to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess I can start this week if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty chill week. I haven't really done a whole lot other than I started Metaphor. I'm not too far into it. I only got to play it a little bit. It's one of those games where I want to sit here and not move for 4 days, and I haven't had the chance to do that because I'm working. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wait a little bit before I can really get into it. Probably around Thanksgiving, that extra long weekend, I'll probably just sit here and play Metaphor. That's about it, really. I stopped playing Fate Go. That's about it.
I'm proud of you, I think.
I'm proud of you too. Was that a mobile game?
It was. Yeah, it was one of my gotcha games.
I'm proud of you. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
For me, yeah, it's been pretty quiet for me too. Destiny 14, making homemade food. Man, don't shake your head, Doc. Look, man, I understand. I went down the wrong rabbit hole, dude. I know.
Destiny.
I understand.
Yes.
I dead ass fucking after raid one day because he's like, all right, now I can hop on Destiny. And I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Then he hits me with the, well, what else am I supposed to play?
That's
Look,
a good point.
it's just easy to play these games. Like playing single player games takes a lot of mental stamina.
Yep.
Some of them do. Some of them do. Yeah.
So it is what it is.
It is mindless activities for sure.
Yeah. Chris, what you got?
I've been playing Jedi Survivor. I played like 5 hours last night, and I think I maybe finished one mission. It's just back to what he said, man. Single player games.
5 hours?
Oh my god, there's so much, and I'm not a completionist, but the next mission is like, okay, you gotta leave the planet, go to another planet. Okay, cool. I haven't done anything on this planet, but I spent 5 hours messing around and going to areas that I was not supposed to be at. And I know for a fact that there's parts of this planet that I haven't explored because I like walked 2 feet in a different direction. It's like new area discovered. I'm like, what the fuck? I've been here forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, whereas me and my brain is like, oh, I can leave to continue later, and I'm out. Like, I'm already flying.
Exactly. People want bite-sized experience these days. We don't want the whole. Not every game can be Thanksgiving. Not every game can be Thanksgiving. I don't understand these
That's
people.
why I only finish these JRPGs like once every few months, bro, because it's fucking draining. Like, Metaphor is going to be over 100 hours of gameplay. I already know it.
But
No. Pause. No. No.
Yeah, you have to put so much time in JRPGs, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like Persona 3, I was so mentally and emotionally drained after that one. That was the last one I played before Metaphor. Persona 3.
No.
What about you, Daquan?
Working on games. Working on 2 games. One I can't talk about, but the other one, hopefully one of these podcasts I'll pop it up and then I can show
Actually
the
talk about
stuff.
it and stuff.
Yeah. But just working on games. 2 different genres too, which is wild, but we'll make it work. But other than that, just enjoying some Black Rifle coffee.
Oh my
Put it out
god.
in.
Oh my god.
Black Rifle Coffee.
A little product placement, let me tell you.
Not even fucking sponsored. It's crazy. Black Rifle, you're gonna have to call us to unblur that.
By all means, no, that'd be fine. No, it's all good. But yeah, that's about it.
All right, well, we can end the episode there then.
Yep, I don't got nothing else to say. So
yeah.
All right, everyone, have a good one.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week.